What's up guys, welcome back. Another video about the buggy. So, after our test day yesterday, I got knocked around a fair bit. I feel like I've been hit by a truck and I wasn't even in the car when it hit a tree. So, can't imagine what poor old Jamie is feeling. But oh man, this thing just, I really got to work on my fitness. This thing just knocked me around so much, I'm feeling so sore. But anyway, coming off the test day, it was really good feedback, really good to get out there and test this thing with Drew. Make sure it's, exactly what he wants. So we've got a few areas of the tune that we want to clean up today on the dyno. Now that we sort of know exactly where it hovers around in the throttle and where in the transient we need to look at and get it nice and crispy. Like I explained, it's real important in something like this where it's off-road, so you're always steering with the throttle. So it's very important for those transient areas right off throttle when you stab it to be really crispy so that you can really use it to direct the car exactly where it needs to be. So we know all about that coming from sort of dirt bikes, enduro and stuff like that, how important that is to be able to steer with the throttle. So not only that, we realized, we thought on the dyno, because we got the trans temp sort of gauges working, this one, the gauge that comes out of the cooler does come up, but the other one that's in the transmission doesn't come up at all. We thought the other day on the dyno, because we were only dynoing in like sort of top gear on and off, it's not really enough to really get the transmission working enough to get hot. So we figured it might have just been, not getting hot enough. So we thought we'd wait until the test day to see what actually happened. But even cutting laps, it didn't come up on the temp. So it must not be, right. There's something about either the sensor not working or our suspicion at the moment is that it's not actually in the oil.
See how short that probe is?
That pretty much, that's our suspicion.
So I'm just boiling some water. I'll drop that sensor in and just see. Yeah, yep. I'm pretty sure the sensor's fine. We just need to relocate it into the pan so that it's actually submerged in oil.
So you can see, it's probably hard to see on camera. So just there, hard to see. That little boss there, that's where the sensor sits. And as you can see, it's very short. So it's probably only just in the air gap in the top there. Whereas, the pan is actually quite deep. So our suspicion the whole time was that the sensor wouldn't be actually submerged in the trans oil properly, which upon pulling that sensor out just now, that's pretty much our suspicions, confirmed. So that's most likely the issue. Like Rex said, we're going to do some tests now to make sure that's what's going on. But it looks like it's a pretty hearty aftermarket trans pan. And it's Ali, so it's a aluminium trans sort of pan. It's a bit hard to see with all this stuff around, but it looks like it's pretty solid. So what we're hoping is that we can pull the trans pan off and just drill and tap a new location for the sensor in the side of the pan where the sensor is actually going to be properly submerged in trans fluid and give a really accurate reading of the temperature of the fluid inside the tranny. So this is something that Drew's, he's very particular about because he's damaged a transmission before a race, and the caliber of the transmissions that are in this thing for the punishment they have to put up with, as you can imagine, they are really not a cheap item. So he's very pedantic about making sure that he keeps this trans cool, and he wants to be able to monitor the temperatures to a T to make sure he doesn't cook it again and damage another one. So very important that we get this working. And then back onto the dyno to clean up those areas of the tune. And we've got this Saturday coming, we've got another test day booked in. So hopefully this Saturday it'll be all sweet. And then the next weekend he's actually got a race out at Cruiser Park. So we'll head out there on the weekend and support him and be there for anything that he needs that we can sort out. And hopefully he can have a bit of fun and get a good result for that race. We're really looking forward to it. Alright, so we just dumped that sensor in some hot water. Alrighty, so needle didn't come up with some boiling water. So first things first, track that down. Continuity test on the sensor wire, etc, etc. See what's going on there. Righto guys, so after some heavy investigating and fault finding, we've isolated it to the sensor, the actual sender unit. So Rex is ordering a new sensor at the moment, but that's what the problem is. The rest of the wiring and the gauge itself are fine. To fault find, we just used a LS water temp sensor in some hot water and just sort of fault found and made sure it was the sender. But we don't have any senders like it, so we've got to try and order one that's got the right plug in it, otherwise we've got to re-terminate it, which is just, we'd rather not. Anyway, that's that pretty much sorted, which is number one, and then we can move on to getting her on the dyno. So crawling around underneath the thing, dealing with the gearbox sensor issues, we noticed that these had actually sheared off on the bash plate. Now we know that these were fine the other day when they went back on because we put this back on, so this must have happened when Drew hit the tree the other day. So pretty severe little punch to shear both of them off, but anyway, got a little easy out here. So we'll try and get these out and then try and replace them. It's annoying because this thing, obviously the chassis and everything's from the States. Like the nuts and bolts and everything in the chassis and these particular ones are all Imperial, which we don't have a lot of. So we'll try and get these out, but I don't know that we've got any around here to actually replace them with. So
I was just going to order some.
Order some Imperial bolts, yeah.
Yeah, I'll check them with our gauges.
Yeah, a little third pitch gauging tool. Anyway, we'll have to get some new bolts in there. So we tried an easy out, it didn't work. So we're using this old trick of just welding a nut to the end of the bolt. Old machine shop trick, just weld a nut on there and then use the nut to turn it out. So. Righto, so got the bolts out. Bit of a mission. Rex has ordered some actual Imperial bolts that we can chuck back in, but we're just going to leave the bash guard off for now until they get here, just in case we have to get at anything in their trans or anything like that in the meantime. But yeah, for now it's pretty much ready to chuck this thing back up on the dyno and just finish sorting out the knock control and finish sorting out the tune where we need to. So start making some real loud noises again. Righto guys, we're back on the dyno. I'm not going to film any more runs. We shouldn't be doing any more power runs today anyway, because it's only sort of mostly part throttle and transient areas we're working on today and setting up the knock control. So we'll just go ahead and do that and we'll tune in after that when it's all done. Hopefully we don't annoy the neighbours too much. But anyway, it is what it is. Righto guys, so slowly getting there. The knock detection setup on the Haltech is a little bit more, I suppose, less intuitive than Link's setup. It's a bit harder to set up, it's a bit harder to read, but we've sort of got it pretty much there. Knock control seems to be pretty good. It's doing what it's supposed to. The noise levels are pretty much where we want them as far as the detection goes, so that's okay. So that's pretty much sorted. We'll keep looking at it tomorrow and just see if we can get it any better. But we've just been playing around just with that transient enrichment when you stab it, because that's the part that really needs work. And we've gotten it a lot better. Still needs a bit of work, but we'll try again tomorrow. But it seems like so much enrichment, but you know, we were just talking about, it's got a massive throttle body on it, so when you do punch the throttle, it is a lot of air real quick. So it sort of makes sense that there would be a fair bit of enrichment. But anyway, we'll keep going with it tomorrow. We thought we'll give the neighbours a bit of a break today. We've been on the dyno for about an hour, just sort of going over, stabbing it and stabbing it and stabbing it. So,
and even though it's not like full power runs, I don't think it's much quieter.
Yeah, I don't think it's much quieter at all. But I mean, it was even to the point where, like, because it's this open wheel, and these are, like, you know, you got big 35-inch muddies, they actually burn off a heap of rubber on the rollers, and that and just the fuel. And we had the front doors sort of mostly closed to try and trap a lot of the sound. And we were just at the point where both of our eyes were just burning. We couldn't even fucking keep our eyes open. So yeah, we thought we better give it a break, open up the place, let it air out, and we'll keep going with it tomorrow. Annoy the neighbours some more tomorrow, but try and keep it to little sort of hour-long windows so they don't get too pissed off with us. But anyway, it is much better than it was. As far as that transient not hesitating, seems to be pretty much right there. But anyway, we'll get it as best we can on the dyno, and then obviously we've got this another test day on Saturday to make sure it's perfect. So it's going to take a long time to get this car completely perfect, I think, which is, you know, why we're keen to go out to his race at Cruiser Park and be on standby and help him out in case there's anything he doesn't like. And yeah, we'll just keep an eye on sort of what the fuel level's doing. I don't think it's got a fuel level sensor or anything, so yeah, so it's just going to be a matter of test it and see how much fuel it uses and try and go from there. Maybe we will turn on closed loop again, but obviously set better parameters than what it was last time, because when it got to us it was just closed loop full time, which is, I don't agree with. But maybe if we turn it back on and set our parameters for TPS, like max TPS and max map and that sort of thing, hopefully we can get it set so that if he's cruising through the desert it might be alright, and open loop might do him okay. I mean closed loop. Anyway, we'll just see what happens. We'll try it on the test day. We'll have a look. Righto guys, so time to make it a noise again. Finally get this transient issue sorted. So today's pretty much the day we'll finally get it sorted. We did also call and have a chat to our gearbox, our resident sort of gearbox guy that we get to do all our autos yesterday. just to have a chat with him about a few things that are going on with this thing that we're a bit unsure of, that we don't particularly like. So just to get some advice from him, and he did sort of say to us, as we already thought, that temp sender in the gearbox really should be in the pan. So we are actually going to go ahead and move it. However, this gearbox is doing some other funny things which we don't particularly think is 100% correct. So before we touch it, we're going to talk to the owner about it and just see what he wants to do and just give him our advice on what we were told. That's all we can do, because we are not professional gearbox guys. We are not competent gearbox people, so all we can do is give him our advice based on what our guy that we trust has told us, and it's up to him what he wants to do about that. But anyway, regardless, we'll just get this transient issue sorted today. Hopefully it'll be pretty quick, because I think our neighbours are really good and they're really patient, but the more days in a row we keep running this thing up on the dyno and making shitloads of noise, the less patient they are going to be with us. So we'll get this thing sorted hopefully very quickly at the moment, and then see where we're going from there. All right, guys, so we managed to get it pretty much exactly where we wanted it, you know, within about 20 minutes just now, so that's pretty good. It's miles better than it was in those areas where it needed attention, which is, you know, just where the owner sort of hovers around the throttle and where he needs to steer with the throttle. And again, it's just one of those things, it's pretty hard to get on a dyno without having a test day or having the driver, you know, drive it in real conditions to see where exactly in the map and transient areas and stuff they hover and are. So it's pretty well sorted. It can probably use a little bit more work, but we'll do that on the next test day. Don't want to keep annoying the neighbours, and our concerns with what this box is doing, it seems to be getting worse. So personally, like I said, we're not gearbox experts. We know enough. We know enough to know I don't think it's particularly right at all. And we are not about to be responsible for this, you know, $6,000 Reed Case T400 that's been built for this thing. So, you know, we're going to talk to him. I'd rather continue with it on test day when he's there. He's driving, he can feel it out, and he can make the call, because it's not our call to make. And personally, if it was, I'd be not too happy with continuing the way it is. So that's just where it is for now. We'll give him our advice, what we've been told. I mean, our gearbox guy that we deal with, he's big in the off-road community. He does a lot of trophy truck boxes, like he does Matt Mingay's boxes for his trophy truck and stuff like that. So you know, he definitely sort of knows what he's talking about when it comes to this thing, so we trust his guidance. So all we can do is pass on information, and then we'll see how we go on test day. So we'll see what he says when we give him that information about the box. At this point, based on the advice we've been given, we are going to move that sensor as long as the owner's still happy for us to do that. He may not want to touch it, he may just want to pull it out and do whatever, so it's up to him. Hopefully we can still get to this test day, and hopefully we can get this thing sorted and get him racing next weekend still. So fingers crossed it works out, but we'll pick up this video on test day again. Righto guys, so back on the buggy, we've talked to the owner about the box and what it's doing, and you know, he's talked to whatever, and he sort of come to the conclusion that he wants to try and sort it before the race. So it looks like it's probably going to go to our box guy, which is awesome. Again, it's not really something that I can really comment much on, because I'm not a box expert. There's way too much to know when it comes to like these auto boxes, so can't really comment much, but we just know that what it's doing is not very cool, so it's going to get sorted before the race, which is awesome. So he's going to come get it tomorrow, and he's going to pull the box out to save him having to pay us the labour to do it. It's apparently a real pain to do. And then it's going to our box guy, which I'm excited about, because I'm 100% sure when he gets back he's not going to have any more problems with it, because the dude that does our, that we know that does boxes, especially does them for exactly this application and off-road sort of stuff. So that's the best thing to happen, really, I reckon. So that's awesome. So at the moment we're just draining out the green coolant. We noticed the other day, went up through a belt and overheated and started pushing some coolant out of the overflow. That the coolant that was coming out was green, which is generally not what you want for aluminium. So the red stuff's the higher glycol. It's better for corrosion as far as alloy goes, so we're swapping out the green for red, and that's pretty much the last thing we're going to be doing to it. And then it's going to go, he's going to sort out the box, hopefully get that sorted. We can get it back together and hopefully still get another test day in before this race, but we'll just see how we go. Yeah, we're pushing it. There's not much time to get all this stuff done. So we got the new temp sender for the transmission temp as well, which is awesome. So we're going to get underneath while the box is still in there and mark a few good potential places in the pan that this can be put. We'll mark a couple because we don't know what's actually inside the pan. So if we mark one spot and he pulls the pan off and there may be something there, or maybe a reason he can't get it in, and we don't want that to happen. So we'll mark a few potential spots where it's going to work for the buggy and hopefully, you know, go in the box, but we'll just get him to do that when he's got the box, so we don't have to tap that in, which is awesome. So we've got that to sort out, change out the coolant, and that's pretty much going to be it for this thing. Load it up and it'll get going tomorrow until, yeah, like I said, hopefully another test day, or we'll see him at the race. So that's all we're doing to the buggy until pretty much not sure. Hopefully it makes it to this race and we get there. So at this point, I'm pretty sure there's not enough content to make an entire video that's worth watching. So I'll pick up this video whenever we are back sort of doing something with this, which hopefully will be very soon. So yeah, see you then. Righto guys, skip forward a few days and we're here at Ultra4's at Landcruiser Park. We didn't get a chance to do another test day, but Drew did get his gearbox sorted, so he's here racing. As you can see, it's a lovely day. Cameras, not a good day for cameras. So I bought the GoPro, but as you know, the GoPro doesn't have any good audio, but it's probably gonna have to do for the day because I'm not gonna risk my very expensive camera getting wet. So I'll get the rest of the footage on the GoPro. We'll just see how it goes. And hopefully Drew's happy with everything, so yeah. I'll tell you what, it's an absolutely terrible day for this. I probably sound like a scuba diver on the GoPro, and that's exactly what I feel like as well. We got to the start line just as that class was finishing up, so now we're going to go around to the pit area and try and find the owner of that buggy and just make sure he's happy with how it's performing at the moment, happy with the tune and everything. We got here just in time to watch him go up the hill climb there, and it sounded good, sounded really good, so fingers crossed he's happy with that. But it's just been an all-around terrible morning. I've never actually been to Landcruiser Park here. I didn't realise how far out it was from Kilcoy. I don't think I've got enough fuel to get back to Kilcoy, so I'm gonna have to try and flog some off someone. So that sucks. Haven't eaten yet. Hungry, wet. Ugh. Anyway, go and see Drew. Make sure he's happy with the tune. If he's happy, stick around for a little bit longer. And probably piss off as soon as I can get some fuel. Might have to just go and take some Falcon on the Falcon on a few tracks, make a day out of it, actually get some footage. Get some hill climbs in the big Falc happening. Oh, we've got some pretty wild action here. Whoop, whoop. Falcon versus Landcruiser Park. Eat your heart out. I think it was fine when he came in. It looked pretty funny coming up. As soon as I think he ripped it right there as he turned it on. Johnny's in there. He's got Bristol. Righto guys, so heading home now. What a day. I had a terrible day. Awesome event, just that I was very, very, very ill prepared for a day like today, especially in the rain, in the Falcon, where we were going. I didn't eat this morning, I didn't have enough fuel. It was just a terrible, terrible, terrible day for me. But, awesome event, awesome to finally see these things race. Like I said, I've never been anything like that before, and it's incredible how relentless the conditions are that these things actually perform in. Yeah, very eye-opening to see that today. Unfortunately, Drew, who we were doing that buggy for, he was out fairly early with a broken front diff. I don't know what exactly happened. I think he smashed it on a rock and did something to the pinion or whatever. But tune's getting pretty good. The biggest problem we had was because when they rebuilt the box, they put a new converter in it, and the new converter is a much lower stall. So we found that he was sort of seeing zero vacuum at a much lower RPM. So he was in parts of the map that we had not been at before because of the way the new stall was. Apart from that, he reckons from that sort of 3,000 RPM onwards was awesome, which is where we were at before. So that's all good. We just need a little bit to get it dialed in with that new stall. So either way, we're still going to do another test day, but obviously Drew's got to sort out his diff now. Another one of those big rush jobs to get there, so I feel bad for him. He busted ass to get there. It would have been, that tune would have been perfect if we had that extra test day that we were meant to have yesterday, but we didn't because he had to bust ass to get the box in and get it done. So props to him for getting there. Sucks that that happens, but as we all know, these sorts of things happen. We had a few other friends that were racing as well. One of them broke an axle, and the other one, I think he broke a sway bar and did a shock or something, but he was still racing when we left. But it's just incredible, like how harsh the track is. It's so nuts. But anyway, I'm keen to get to the next one. I'm keen to be a lot better prepared. That's the other thing, is yesterday we did like 14 hours on this Mustang, trying to get some good headway on that. So I was wrecked today. I got up late. I was late there. I didn't eat. I didn't have fuel. It was just an all-round mess. So next time I'm going to be much better prepared, and super looking forward to it. And hopefully we are a lot better prepared with the actual car side of things as well, and have that buggy completely dialed, and knowing that it's going to be reliable, and hopefully not have this issue again. But yeah, it's pretty rough on the gear, that sort of racing. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed what little footage I got. Again, like, it was raining, I didn't have an umbrella, I didn't have even a waterproof jacket, I had nothing. There was not really anywhere to stand out of the rain. So yeah, the GoPro had to do. So I hope you've enjoyed the footage that I got. And yeah, we'll probably see some more of this sort of driving coming along if we're going to keep sort of going along to support Drew. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos of this sort of stuff in the months and years to come. So smash like if you haven't already, slap it like it stole your lunch money, go to the store and buy yourself a shirt or a sticker, hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one guys. Thanks for watching as always. Peace out, see you, bye.